Ernest Hemingway, 1899 to 1961, was an influential American novelist, short story writer, and journalist. Known for his distinctive, terse prose and his adventurous lifestyle, Hemingway became a major figure in 20th century literature. He won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1954 and remains one of the most iconic literary figures of his time. Ernest Hemingway was born on July 21, 1899, in Oak Park, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. His father, Clarence Hemingway, was a physician, and his mother, Grace Hall Hemingway, was a musician. Hemingway grew up in a well-educated, middle-class family. Hemingway's love for adventure and the outdoors was instilled in him from a young age. His father taught him to hunt, fish, and camp, experiences that shaped his later writing. These outdoor adventures became central to many of his works, where themes of survival and struggle against nature were prevalent. After graduating from high school in 1917, Hemingway worked as a reporter for the Kansas City Star, where he developed the concise writing style for which he would later become famous. The paper's writing rules emphasized short sentences and energetic language, influences that remained in his work. In 1918, Hemingway volunteered as an ambulance driver for the Red Cross during World War I. He was sent to the Italian front, where he was seriously wounded by shrapnel. While recovering in a Milan hospital, Hemingway fell in love with a nurse, Agnes von Kurowski, an experience that inspired his famous novel, A Farewell to Arms, 1929. After the war, Hemingway moved to Paris in the early 1920s, where he became part of a vibrant expatriate community of writers, artists, and intellectuals, later referred to as the Lost Generation. This group included writers like F. Scott Fitzgerald, Gertrude Stein, and Ezra Pound. Stein became his mentor and helped him refine his style. In 1926, Hemingway published his first major novel, The Sun Also Rises. The novel depicted the disillusionment and aimlessness of post-World War I expatriates. It is considered one of his masterpieces and established him as a major literary talent. In this period, Hemingway also developed his iceberg theory of writing. In 1929, Hemingway published A Farewell to Arms, a tragic love story set against the backdrop of World War I. The novel was both a commercial and critical success, cementing Hemingway's reputation as one of the leading American writers of his generation. Hemingway's personal life was as colorful as his fiction. He was married 4 times and had numerous love affairs. His first marriage to Hadley Richardson ended in divorce in 1927, after which he married Pauline Pfeiffer. He would later marry Martha Gellhorn, a fellow writer, and finally marry Welsh. Hemingway had a deep interest in political events and actively supported the Republican cause during the Spanish Civil War. He covered the war as a journalist and also wrote the novel For Whom the Bell Tolls, 1940, which is based on his experiences in Spain. This novel, considered one of his finest, examines themes of sacrifice, honor, and the impact of war. During World War II, Hemingway again worked as a journalist, covering the conflict in Europe. He was present at the D-Day landings in Normandy and accompanied troops during the liberation of Paris. In 1952, Hemingway published The Old Man and the Sea, a novella about an old Cuban fisherman's struggle with a giant marlin. The work received widespread acclaim and won the Pulitzer Prize in 1953.